I guess we get started. We got Bill in here in the house now. So, hey, Five welcomes you to Masterclass. I'm Doug Johnston with my wife, Joan. She's in the other room. We're in Boise, Idaho. Welcome, everybody. We look forward. This is my first Masterclass that I've ever gotten to host and help everybody through. So, Bill will walk me through it and help me so I don't make any mistakes. You guys all ready for some awesome training? Yeah, right on. Okay.
Oh shit, hold on, Doug. Guys,
Oh,
that's pathetic. Like, are you guys ready to kick some ass over the course of the next hour? Yes, and like get like strategic, freaking great like the process to be able to crush the rest of this year. I need a little bit more than just
I
this, Joe.
am.
Like I
I
need
am going
like
to be there for
no,
sure.
I need a hell yes coach or a hell
Hell
yes
yes,
Doug on the
coach.
count of three. Ready? One, two, three. Give Doug a hell yes at
Hell
least, man.
yes,
This is the
coach.
first time,
Hell
right?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh
let's go,
yeah.
baby.
Yes. Whoop,
Okay,
whoop.
there we go.
All right. Well, I got to introduce this guy. Our guest has been coaching for over Wait a minute. I gotta say something. Yesterday, last evening, I got a phone call from Robert Mack, which is a really good friend of Coach Pipes, and he says, Doug says I got something really important come up. I can't make it tomorrow. Can you host this for me and introduce Bill Pipes? And I did one of these. I looked over at Joan. I go, yeah, I get a chance to actually introduce Pipes, man. I so am just thrilled to be here. Bill is one of the most dynamic speakers I've known. He's been coaching for 2 decades. His company, G3, will be teaching us how to do seven-figure incomes. Just an outstanding opportunity to work with. Today, we'll be learning about the bull market or the bull run. I see it. We're already starting to see buyers in the market. They're coming. And Bill and his team are going to be in Las Vegas September 30th through the 2nd of October with his Salesforce team. And I can't wait for this one. So, Bill, welcome to our group. Thank you very much
DJ,
for
thank you.
coming.
Thank you so much for you guys. I'm super stoked to be back. Um, DJ, man, we go way back. I don't know how many of you guys know this. I was Nazar's coach for Provident for about 7 years, right? And Tammy, I remember him having the conversation with me about, hey, I'm thinking about like taking Provident and moving it into a larger organization. And I was Robert Mack's coach at the time as well too. And so it's so exciting for me to be able to be on this call. Second time that I've gotten the chance to do the Thursday masterclass, which is really an honor for me. And more than anything, it's just inspiring for me to see Nazar's vision showing up in all of you being attracted to what it is that he's committed to producing. So like, just thank you guys. And just, this is very, very cool. I'm not sure how many of you guys have ever met. How many of you guys have ever like, I've been in a room where I've spoken, been on a webinar for, that I've led or been to an event of mine. Probably a lot of you guys, so some of you haven't. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Bill Pipes. I'm gonna share screen here really quick, right? And so that you guys get a sense. And we're not gonna do like the pretty PowerPoint. We're just gonna do the one that's more functional. Is that okay? So it won't be full screen. Here's my history. And I share this with you not to impress you, but just to give you like a little snapshot of who I am. Doug, I'm 31 years in real estate as of August, right? And have had my own real estate team, had my own mortgage company, was fortunate enough, Sherwin, to be like mentored by some of the best individuals on the planet. I spent my formative years in my early 20s being mentored by a gentleman by the name, Tammy, of Mike Ferry, who I think you know, right? And so I still keep this dude right here on my desk, looking at me every single day. For those of you, the millennials that don't know what the hell this is, these are DVDs, right? But I keep Mike Ferry to remind me of the fundamentals. And I learned a lot of great stuff from him that I keep today. Moved over from Mike Ferry to actually work with Diana Kokoska and Tony DeCello and Gary Keller and help them in the growth of their BOLD program and their MAPS coaching program. Left there and then came in about 2011 to where I met probably a lot of you guys, Rochelle, which was at Tom Ferry, right? And, Tammy, when I met you guys at TF, it wasn't, it was a beginning of the massive upward growth that Tom had, because we had like 24 coaches when I came in with TF. And then we grew that, and I was in charge of training all the coaches, right? So that was my position. I was a coach some of the larger teams, coach some of the individual agents, et cetera. And then Tom and I had a conversation. I had a vision, guys, and I think this is really important for you guys to understand this vision. I'll stop the screen. Oh, you guys, I'll stop the screen share really quick. My vision was this, and I went to Tom and I said, I truly believe agents should be earning, if they're full-time in the business, Joe, they should be earning seven figures. Okay, how many of you guys believe that? Like, if you're going to make the sacrifice, you're going to put the time, energy, and the effort in. If you're going to run this damn business, right? Like 100%, you should be having your crosshairs seven figures, $1 million, right? And I know a lot of you guys are in markets where $1 million would be 60, 70 transactions. And interestingly enough, Tom said, and God bless him because it's his model, right? He said, Doug, he goes, no, we're going to alienate too many people. And I said, dude, I used his own words on him, Brian. I said, if we're for everyone, we're for no one, right? And he's like, yeah, I get it. So that was the beginning of this vision that I had, and then spent some time with John Cheplack for a year, got exposed to some of the larger teams, figured out some of the mistakes that they make. And then about 14, 15 months ago, we launched G3 with the intent of getting 1,000 people over seven figures, guys. Okay. Like, to be able to actually help make, we can't make anyone do anything. I want to be very clear, but to be in the foxhole, give the system, give the process, give the training, give the coaching, where there's 1,000 people, lovely, that make $1 million, right? That lights me up. It inspires me. It's what gets me going, right? And so, Sherwin, we attract a certain type of person. We don't attract that person that's like, okay, cool. Well, I just sort of want to do my 100K or my 150K or whatever. Like, that's awesome. There's places for you. Who we look to attract are warriors. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Now, everyone do me a favor. Point at yourself and go, Pipes, I am that warrior on the count of three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yo, Pipes, I am that warrior. Now, I'll ask you to do some crazy stuff on this call to keep you engaged, right? It may feel weird, but I got a mantra. My mantra is, I'd rather you be weird and rich than cool and poor any single day. Does that make sense, guys? Right? So I'm all about, like, let's do the things that others aren't willing to do so we can have the things that others won't have. So I've coached and conducted 120,000 coaching sessions, right? The average person that I coached this last year earned 1.75 million. More important than any of that, and I'm just sort of talking to you right now so we can lay the groundwork. The most important component is that over the course of the last probably 5 or 6 years, we've generated this. Okay. Let me know if you guys can see that right now. Can you see that, Doug?
Yes,
Candy, can you see it? That's 42 agents. Robert Mack is on there, by the way. And I should actually put Nazar on, because Nazar was one of the ones, Doug, that we got from, he was already over 1 million and we added 1 million to his gross. So maybe we call this 43. We've got 10 people this year that are going over at Rochelle for the first time. So think about that, right? Tammy, we've had this hockey stick in growth this year in a market that's been down for probably 8 or 9 months. And why is it that that's happened? It's because, Doug, we figured this shit out. Does that make sense? Like, in the last 18 months, we're like, we got this system down. We know if we take a motivated person that is willing to surrender to the system, that within 2 or 3 years, we can get them over 7 figures. How many of you guys, that's appealing, that's sexy, you're interested in that? Like knowing what it is. Nino, whatever you do, stay calm and lay down. I need you chill, bro, okay? Are you guys interested in that? Yes or no? Yep. Yeah, that's why we're here. All right. So today I want to unpack a couple of things for you guys. I'm going to go, instead of a lot of fluff at the beginning and get you guys excited and motivated, we're going nuts and bolts today. Does that sound good, guys? Okay. Because I really think that what we need is tactical solutions to the market that we're facing right now. So we're going to jump straight into today. Now, by the way, guys, I want to give you 2 foundational pieces, right, that I want you guys to understand, that I teach to everyone. And by the way, I'd like to ask today, if it's possible, that for the next, what do I got you guys? Another 50 minutes, 45, 50 minutes. For the next 40 minutes, could I be your coach? Would you guys allow me the opportunity to coach you? All right. All right. Now keep in mind, I charge $5,000 to $6,000 a month. So you're getting like really good coaching for free, right? Everyone just say, thank you, Nazar, on the count of 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Thanks, Nazar. Right? Nice. They can see it in the recording. So my foundation that I teach to every single person that I coach, and you'll hear it, those of you that are at the Sales Power event in Vegas, is that the best businesses have this trifecta. I call it the 3 S's. All right. And you may, if you would draw this really quick, some of you may have seen this before on the previous call that I did with you guys. Some of you, this is the first time seeing it. But what I notice on those 42 individuals, right, all these men and women right here, They're all different. They're in different markets. They have different models to a certain degree, but they all have three things in common. Number one, and they are highly skilled, right? They have either gotten to a point or continue to actually work on their skills. And if you would write this down, skills are nothing more than scripts, dialogues, and strategies. They're scripts, dialogues, and strategies to connect with people and move them forward. Whether that's Tammy, their conversation that they have, and I'm gonna give you guys some scripts today, and I'm actually gonna send some more over to you that I'm working on in the face of what just happened yesterday with the Fed and what's happening today, right? But see, I truly believe that we are in a skill-based market still, even with rates beginning to actually subside a little bit and be able to actually be more in our favor. There's a lot of confusion that's out in the market, and I want to address that here in a little bit. And our job is to be able to control that narrative. How do we do that? We do that with our conversations with our past clients. We do that with scripts and dialogues for our leads. We do that with scripts and dialogues for our listing presentation, etc. Every single person that I've coached that got over that seven-figure mark were deadly. They were savages, like Tommy Toole still at TF, like amazing, and Robert Mack, like Nazar. They all know what to say and they know how to say it effectively. Number two, right down in the second S, is standards. If you're gonna run a seven-figure business, that seven-figure business is gonna have specific standards. And if you would please write down, standards are nothing more than their disciplines, rituals, and routines that are based upon your goal. And they're disciplines, rituals, and routines that are based upon your goal. And Doug, the best of the best make them non-negotiable, right?
Yeah.
The best of the best, they make these non-negotiable. Like they just are not, like their morning ritual, non-negotiable. Their time that they prospect, which is a discipline, ritual, routine, non-negotiable. The time that they, maybe if they have a team, that they meet with their team or they meet with their leaders, it's a non-negotiable. What time they go to bed is a non-negotiable. They're just very ritualistic in the way that they approach it. Now, one of the things I want you guys to understand here today, because we are, my friends, we're towards the end of this year. Do you guys realize that? Holy cow. Like we only have probably about 60-ish more days to get something under contract, get it closed, in the subsequent 30 days of December. Like the year's just about done. So I know a lot of you may be thinking, okay, cool, Pipes, what's up for next year? How many of you guys are already beginning, Cindy, to think about 2025, right? What your numbers are, how much income, like you may not have the plan in place, but you at least have the idea of what you want to earn, yes, and how many homes you want to sell. Yeah, I hope you do, right? Because you need to start being that person now. Now listen to me really quickly. Here's the mistake that so many agents make. They set a higher goal for the next year, but they approach it with the previous year's standards. I'm going to say that again. They set a higher goal for the next year, but they don't change their standards. Sort of that old definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But see, if you want more in terms of your business, your standards have to be higher. My standards of what I do, what I don't do, and we're going to jump into some standards today, at $1 million is different than me at the $5 million, is different than me at the $10 million for this business. And so you've got to start looking at those standards, and they're based upon your goal. And last is strategy. The last S is strategy, okay? And just write down strategy are people, processes, and systems to drive efficiency and effectiveness. Brian, those seven-figure earners like yourself, okay? They are very strategic. They're strategic on how they market. Now, I don't have the sheet with me. I'll draw it right now. I'm a big advocate. This is in addition to having PowerPoints. I'm a big advocate of white pages. Strategies are typically composed of what I call SAM, S-A-M, okay? And you'll learn this, those of you that I'm gonna see in Vegas, right? The strategy has three pieces to it, always. A strategy has a script that you use typically to have conversations. So write down the strategy has a script or a dialogue. Like there's a script or if I'm running a strategy for past clients and to be able to actually get more repeat and referral business, well, I've got to have a certain dialogue that I have. Does that make sense? I got to have the skill of being able to deliver that. But then it's got specific action steps that I need to take. The A stands for action steps. So there's actions I need to take inside the strategy. And the M, Joe, stands for marketing. There's marketing that goes along with it. And marketing, Zach, can be emails that I send out. It can be text messages. It can be direct mail that I do. But the best strategies have all three. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, Joe, if you go to Mike Ferry, he's going to teach you one leg of the strategy. He's going to teach you the actions, right? Like Mike Ferry's all about the actions. TF, God bless him, he's all about the marketing, like the videos and the marketing that you want to do. What we teach, Jen, what I'm going to teach you today is a holistic approach that the strategy needs to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And I want you to write that down because the best businesses are prospecting and discipline based, and then they enhance it with marketing. Does that make total sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. See, that way you insulate yourself, Emily, from changes. If you're all marketing, what happens is market shifts. You have to end up spending more to be able to get more, right? Or if you're marketing and you don't have the skills, then Justin, what happens is then you're spending all this money, but your conversion isn't taking place at the level that you need to. So you, again, the only way that you can handle your lack of conversion is spend more. And that's not a good model. Does that make sense? It ends up costing you and collapsing your margins. So just understand the strategy that I'm going to be teaching you guys will always have those three legs. It's not that I don't believe in marketing, but I don't believe in leading with it. Does that make total sense, guys? I want you to understand that. I believe in you leading with your skills. I believe that you lead with your disciplines, and then we throw marketing on top of it so that when people finally do talk to you, they go, shit, I see you everywhere. Of course, trust, like, respect, rapport. Okay. All right. Cool. Mute yourself or I will punch you. Mute yourself or I will punch you in the throat. Lovingly punch you in the throat. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna jump straight into like just some strategy. By the way, you guys look at a copy of this deck. This is what I found. You may want to take a picture of this. Doug.
Okay, take a picture if I can't see it.
Mute yourself. Okay. So Ryan, if you can find who that is, or Jasmine, find who that is. And
I got you. I got him, Bill.
You got him? Okay.
Yeah, but they keep unmuting themselves.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Who is that?
It's an iPhone. I don't know. Whoever.
No. Who is that that's talking
it's
right
Christina.
now? Christina, my gosh, I want to give you a big hug and a kiss on the forehead. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. I just love you. Oh.
I love you too.
Gosh, like, do you realize it's been like 10 years that we've been around each other? A decade, maybe longer. So
Do you realize that I throw out Coach Pipes like daily?
oh, you're amazing. I love you, sister. Like literally from the bottom of my heart. So guys, take a look at this, my friends. Okay. About a year and a half ago, someone asked me, like, what do all these people have in common? Like these seven-figure earners that have gone over the mark, what do they have in common? It made me, Doug, really sit down and think about it. And I finally codified it and said they all have this in common. Number one, they have a high level of competitiveness and desire to win. Well, that's a strategy that you can use and develop. I won't go into that today. I want to go a little bit more tactical with you. Number two, they've developed world-class skills. You know, like, listen, Nazar, I could put that mofo on right now on a listing presentation and he would crush it. Why? Because he's built a foundation of great skills. Number three, they maintain unwavering standards. Number four, this is really important for you to understand, Doug. The best, these individuals that are earning seven figures, guys, they don't have 20 different lead sources and they have two or three or three or four that they're really good at. Does that make sense? They just go deep on them and they make them work and they refine them and they optimize them. They track and monitor everything. They execute quickly. Now that's an important thing, right? Because I'm going to give you some stuff here today and many of you guys are going to want to perfect it and get really good at it before you use it. But here's what I notice. I notice that the best of the best, those individuals that really like knock the case off the ball, they execute quickly, even though they may fail or they may not get the result, they get the feedback. Does that make sense? See, because the best recognize this, Doug, that there is no failure, there's only feedback. You may want to write that down. Failure doesn't exist, only feedback exists. And when you get that lesson and you're like, shit, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to, that dialogue didn't quite happen the way that I was expecting it to, then you go, that's okay. Is there a lesson inside of there? Okay, great. Now, next time I'll be more prepared. I'll be more effective. I'll be able to actually move forward more powerfully. They have a plan and they follow it daily. I won't get into that today, but I will, by the way, at the Sales Power event, I'm actually rolling out a 24 transaction a year plan, a 48 transaction a year plan, and the 75 transaction a year plan. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper on that when I have more time. Then last but not least, this is why we're all at 5. We only like to associate with other winners, believers, and badasses, right, guys? So yes. Everyone just say, I'm a badass on the count of three. You ready? 1, 2. I need you. I'm going to take this off. I want to see all of you guys actually say it. And I know this feels like hype and rah-rah, but yeah, we all need a little bit more hype and rah-rah in us, right? Because by the way, I have yet to meet someone that earns 7 figures that isn't super energetic. Does that make sense, guys? They are, and people go, well, of course they're high energy. They're making all this money. No, bullshit. They were highly energetic and therefore they made all the money. So point at yourself and go, Coach, I am that badass on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Yo, Coach, I am that badass. So I want to go straight to what happened yesterday and your strategy around it, because obviously we have been waiting, praying, waiting with bated breath for the Fed to cut rates, right, guys? How many of you guys have been like a kid at Christmas, Justin, waiting for shit to go down, like waiting for the Fed to actually go, okay, cool. Are they going to come out? Are they going to do something, right? Any of you besides myself? By the way, I've been, Justin, banging that drum for about 6 months, right? It's coming because why? I study data every day. I'm like a geek when it comes to it. Believe it or not, I actually enjoy micro data, right? And because what I teach is this, and I want you guys to write this down because you're going to get a taste of it today. The style of selling that I teach is very elegant. It's called education-based, data-driven selling. Michael, education-based, data-driven selling. Where Nino, the goal is this. I prospect to find those who are motivated 1, 2, 3 hours a day. I follow up and nurture. So step number 1 of this process is prospect. And everyone just say this, Coach, I love to prospect, so I do it every single day. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Yo, Coach, I love to. Some of you can't even freaking say it. You can't even move your lips around that. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Coach, I love to prospect, so I do it every single day. We prospect to find the motivated. Write down step number 2. We follow up to educate the motivated to get appointments. That's what follow-up is about. Does that make sense, guys? It's not about getting the appointment. It's about educating the consumer so that they can make an intelligent decision. They're going to buy when they want to buy. They're going to sell when they want to sell. Our job is to bring them information to be able to determine the right time based upon their motivation and risk adversity. Okay, let me say that again. You cannot, Brian, create motivation in someone to take action. What you can do is find someone who's motivated, educate them so that they can feel comfortable and have certainty to move forward. Does that make total sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay, right? But, so, and step number 3, write down, we pitch and present to choose the clients. We prospect to find the motivated, we nurture and follow up to educate them, then we pitch and present to be able to actually choose them. We choose them, they choose us at that point. Make sense? It's a really simple process. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Last night, at about 9 o'clock, I had a freaking come apart. How many of you guys have ever had a come apart? You guys know what a come apart is? Where you're just like, I'm gonna lose my shit right now, right? I literally had to go outside with my dogs and like, oh my gosh, dear Lord, please help us. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a video last night about it. Does anyone know what caused Coach Pipes' I hate talking about myself in third person, but Coach Pipes' come apart?
I do.
Yeah, Lisa.
Because agents are putting out there about the interest rates and they're not following truly what the rates are. They think that it's 4.5, they think that it's something else, and it's not. The rates are what's going on with your credit cards, your car, your gas.
So thank you, Lisa. I love you. Here's what caused the come apart. I saw 4, and then on my 5th video, I was like, I got to jump in here. Yesterday, the Fed met, right? Okay. They had a 0.5 point cut in their base. I saw 5 videos from agents coming out saying, the Fed cut rates. That means mortgage rates are coming down to 5.5. Yes, if you're a buyer, hey, here's what I want to say to everyone was this. I love this slide. I made it this morning for you guys. 2 plus 2 equals 5. Agents are dumbasses in general. Like, honest to goodness, they're bozos. They're low level of intelligence when it comes to the data. And so we have to get this narrative right. It's funny, my ex-wife, who I was talking to earlier today, is a loan officer, and she was sending something to me, and she's like, there is so much confusion about what happened with this rate cut. How many of you guys have noticed that? Consumers think that the 0.5 point cut means that mortgage rates came down, right? There's agents out there that are peddling a false narrative. See, our job, guys, sorry, I'm gonna take this off. This is my celebration of fall, and now I'm gonna go here. Your number one skill, and I need you to write this down, your number one skill, what I'm gonna teach you at Sales Power, what I'm gonna give you a little taste of today, is you, Joe, have got to be able to control the narrative for your clients. Nino, by the way, Nino, great to see you. If you can't do that, they're gonna make stupid decisions. Why? Not because they're uninformed, but because, Justin, they're getting false information from the media, from other agents, from shit that's actually on social media, okay? Right? And so today, what I'm having, so I wanna unpack with you guys really and help you understand something, right? Because here's what I know. When two people meet, write this down for me, please. When two people meet, this is one of the key, Chris, components of influence. When two people meet, Joe, the one that has the most certainty will have the greater influence over the other person. When two people meet, the one that has the most certainty is hands down going to have greater influence over the other. Now, Joe, you're in my screen, Lisa's in my screen, and Doug's in my screen. You're the only three people, so you guys are the ones that are gonna get my attention. I'm gonna use your guys' names a lot here for the next minute, okay? Joe, if I'm calling you and you're a buyer and I'm certain on what's gonna happen with the real estate market, I understand the data, right? I'm clear that prices are gonna go up and I have data to back that up. I know that inventory will shrink. I'm clear that there's 5 more rate cuts. I know all of this. Am I gonna have a stronger conversation with you? And the answer is definitively yes, right? Now, the challenge is, like I said, and I want you to write this down. I want you to write it down just this way, Emily. Most agents are dumbasses, don't be one. Okay? Most agents are dumbasses. Don't be one. Don't be an agent, just don't be a dumbass. And how do we offset that? We offset it by what I'm going to give you is a process. If I was coaching you, I would ask you to do the following, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to unpack some stuff for you here. This is what I have every single person that I coach, because the first step to you having influence is the knowledge that you have. Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Knowledge equals confidence, and ignorance will equal fear. If you spend 15 minutes a day studying the micro and macro markets, i.e. the national and local markets, you will be much more confident, have more certainty, and ultimately have more influence on the people that you're speaking to. Can you guys see that? Just give me a head nod, yeah? By the way, in the chat, if you would, anytime I'm saying something that does make sense to you, that resonates, would you do me a favor and just do 100? The number 100. That lets me know that it's hitting you, it's making sense, all right, that it's resonating. So take a look. This is my first assignment for all of you. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about what really is going to happen with rates and why it's taking place. If you want to control the narrative, I need all of you to schedule, Joe. Actually, I'm going to not cycle through it. I'm going to look at, okay, who do I have? I've got Jen, I've got Shauna, and I got B.O. I got Mr. Brian, all right? So, and I got the Provident team. Look at that office. I remember that office. Here's how you control the narrative. How you control the narrative is, number one, Jen, if I was coaching you, I'd say, I need you to put 15 minutes in your morning schedule for this. In that 15 minutes, what I need you to do is I need you to go to the following reliable media resources. This isn't CNN, this isn't Fox, it isn't MSNBC, it isn't CNBC, right? It is, number one, national real estate trends through Keeping Current Matters, which you need to be looking at probably 2 times a month. Keeping Current Matters doesn't come out with daily type of information, right, guys? What they do and what they're very valuable for is what's called their MMR, their monthly market report or their monthly market guide. That's where David Childress comes out and he says, here's the, does his video, and then it's got the supporting information. You want to be reading that, watching that once a month. If you don't have KCM, shame on you. For me, it's something that you absolutely should have. Number two, and the rest of this is just free. I think KCM is like $50 a month or something along those lines. You need to plug into Altos Research on YouTube, ALTOS. The gentleman who is the owner and the founder of that his name is Mike Simonson. He's brilliant. You'll get a lot of great data. You don't need to sign up for Altos. You can just subscribe to it because they've got a service that they do for you. But you can subscribe to it on YouTube and just watch the videos. Again, educating yourself. And then for sure, you want to plug into Housing Wire. Okay. Preferably, I think it's $3.95 per year to be able to have a subscription to Housing Wire. That is an industry periodical that gives you non-tainted information. Now, could you go with Inman? Yeah. Inman's good, but it's also like the National Enquirer, Brian. It's like who's sleeping with who in real estate, mixed in with some good stuff, right? And then there's one more. It's Mortgage News Daily. Mortgage News Daily. Okay. So, Shauna, every single day you start your day off, and you go, okay, cool. Let me jump into these. Let me find out what's going on. And there is one more. It's called Housing Wire Daily, Jen. It's a podcast 2 times a week. Logan Mohtashami, who is the chief economist for Housing Wire, is talking about and unpacking what's going on with the markets. It's about 25 minutes. You can do it while you're working out. You just listen to it, right? See, when you take these 15 minutes and you educate yourself, what happens is you now have key talking points that are data-driven, not drama-driven. And I want you to write that down for me, please, right? Present data, not drama. And so when you have that, now you can move people forward. Now you have ways to be able to ultimately educate them, and you have an opportunity. Now let's go back here. Let's just sort of talk about what in the hell happened over the course of the last 24 hours. Was anyone like confused? Because you realize the Fed cut their base rate by 50 bips, okay? And does anyone know what happened to mortgage interest rates yesterday in the morning? And what happened again today? They went up. Hey, Robert. Oh, dude, Robert Pemberton. Good to see you, dude, right? They went up, check this out, guys. They went up 4 basis points yesterday, and they rose 2 basis points today. So with the Fed cutting rates, we actually saw mortgage rates go up, not go down. And you got a bunch of agents out there who are dumbasses that are like, man, rates went down. They're in the 5.5s now. No, they're not. Sorry, hate to break it to you. They went up. Why would rates go up? Because you're going to, by the way, you're going to get buyers and you're going to get sellers reaching out to you going, I heard rates just came down. Oh man, we're really excited. Let's move forward. We should be able to afford more. But the reality is it didn't change. Does that make sense? Okay. So why did we have a 50 basis point cut in the base rate by the Fed and not see it play out in the mortgage space? What do you think, guys?
Some of it was already priced in when we had rates.
100% of it was priced in. Okay. I want to show you something. I follow what are called the Fed futures, Christina, right? The Fed futures are interest rate swaps. Is an investment tool that high-level investors, I don't invest in them, but people that have hundreds of millions of dollars and run funds put their money there. What it is it's able to speculate what's going to happen with interest rates, okay? In the same way that you have options or futures in commodities and in stocks, right? You have futures for the Fed. And these people are saying, here's what's going to happen. Well, back in July, end of July, beginning of August, what happened was those futures pinned all the way to 100% for September, meaning like all the investors were saying, we got 100% chance of a rate cut in September. Now it's pinned all that way to September, October, November. Oh, excuse me, there is no Fed meeting in October, but for the next 6 to 7 Fed meetings, it's a projection of 100% opportunity for a cut in rates. So what happens in markets? And I want you to understand this so that you can explain it, okay? What happened was in August, from August the 8th, when this occurred, till September the 18th, when the Fed met, rates dropped 48 basis points. They moved in advance of the market. Does that make sense? Because it was 100% likelihood that the Fed was going to cut a half to a quarter of a point. So did we get the mortgage rate cut? The answer is what? Yes, we just got it in advance. Does that make total sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. So Steve or Justin, when I'm having a conversation with a buyer and they say, are rates going to come back down? And I heard that the Fed cut rates, you can say, here's what's happened. Over the course of the last 55 to 60 days, we saw rates with downward pressure. They came down 48, almost 0.5%. And that was in advance of this Fed meeting. Now, here's the good news. Ready for the good news, guys? So let me grab this and I'll show it to you. Here's the good news. Here's what is going to take place. Jerome Powell said we got 4 to 5 more projected cuts. Yes. Each of those, Jen, are going to be at least a quarter of a point. If you do the math on this, and Brian, we're not going to see this, brother. We're not going to see the Fed meets and rates drop. We're going to see chipping away at rates leading up to the next Fed meeting. Does that make sense, guys? Just like what we saw, that's going to be the process, okay? But we will see rates coming down anywhere over the course of the next probably 6 to 7 months, a full point to a 1.25 at a minimum, guys, which means we're going to be in the low fives to potentially the sub 5% by mid 2025. Now, why is this important, guys? Why is this important? Well, it brings 6 to 8 million more buyers into the market, according to data, okay? Brings 6 to 8 million more buyers into the market. And really where the ignition is going to take place is November. I've been saying this for a long period of time and I'm about to get, but I want you guys to get this. You need to understand this. You need to be able to actually translate this over to your buyers and to your sellers. Why will the market ignite in November? November 7th is the next Fed meeting. Does anyone know what that is really close to as well too? Bueller? The election. Is there some uncertainty in the election right now? Is it taking some focus of the US population? Yes. Okay. I said this. I said if it was a Trump-Biden election, right, we would not see the October malaise that takes place prior to an election in the real estate market, right? Normally, just so that you know, the real estate market slows down in October prior to an election. It's historically data proven. Does anyone know why that happens? Uncertainty. Right? If I'm uncertain about what's going to happen, right? If I'm on the left and I'm uncertain that Trump's going to get elected, if I'm on the right and I'm uncertain that Kamala's going to get elected, right? I do this. Oh shit, maybe I'm gonna hold back just a little bit. I'm going to pause a little bit, right? Okay. And so what you have is historically October's slower prior to an election year, and on an election year, November and December, like that, all that activity releases, okay? So you're gonna have this normal release of activity, but you're also having the Fed meet again on November 7th, which is 2 days after the election. Make sense? Okay? So now we have, Emily, the release, and we have another rate cut and lower rates, okay? Can you see how this market lights up in November and December, guys? How many of you guys can see that it's like the perfect storm beginning to brew and all of a sudden the election's over? And I mean this with all respect to both candidates. It really doesn't matter who gets elected. The real estate market's going to march along, right? Do you guys get that? Like it really doesn't matter. We're way too poised for a bull run. So let me pause really quick here, okay? What questions do you have about what I just took you through? Questions, comments, clarification before I go into the strategy that you want to use along with this. It is exciting, Jessica. Like it's very exciting. Like we will see, guys, anywhere from 18 to 24 months of a bull run. Okay, we'll see 18 to 24 months of a bull run, similar to, mark my words, 2020 and 2021. Okay, multiple offer situations. I'm already seeing it in the Midwest. Normally it happens in California, Texas, and Florida. I'm not seeing it there yet. You guys are still a little stagnant. But in the Midwest, Ohio, Minnesota, and Michigan, we're beginning to see that 50% of the listings have multiple offers on them right now. So it's just sort of an inverse movement. Normally it goes outside to inside. It's going inside to outside. So questions, unmute yourself so I can answer them for you. Please, I want to help you. Or does this all make complete and total sense? Anyone?
I think it makes complete sense. What are you predicting, or what do you think? Do you think this is the second home market is also going to benefit from this in the same way, or do you
Yeah,
think
you know, Brian, so
certainty?
I coach two people in the secondary home markets, one up in Tahoe and another one up in Coeur d'Alene. Billy Waters in Tahoe and Adriana Picard in Coeur d'Alene, right? Where I'm watching those markets begin to actually pick up a little bit as well too. Now, even though in those secondary home markets, a lot of the times it's not interest rate sensitivity because it's cash buyers and things along those lines. What they are impacted by is the impact of interest rates on their businesses, right? And so the impact on their businesses determines whether they have the certainty to move forward to be able to actually purchase. And we're beginning to see bigger sales taking place in both Tahoe and also like Billy Waters just opened up $9 million worth of sales over the course of the last 18 days, man. So, and it was, dude, Tahoe was like stopped, like just stopped. It was frozen, right? And then Adriana Picard is, you know, again, beginning to see, she's like, hey, shit's beginning to actually light up right now. So we are seeing that right now. Okay. So, but it's a little bit different. It's not because, hey, rates make it possible for buyers to buy. It's rates make it comfortable for business owners to purchase at that point. Okay. So let's hop in and let's talk a little bit about your strategy. Okay. So here is our strategic solution. Okay. All righty. So today, I would literally, let me stop really quick because I'm going to go off script for a second. I would not, guys, do any type of video today on the change in interest rates. All right. If I were going to do a video, right, what my video would be, Robert, is this. Hey guys, it's Bill Pipes over here with Five Real Estate. I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about the Fed cutting rates. Hey, listen. Rather than speculate what's going to take place in the next 24 to 48 hours, right? I'm waiting for the dust to settle so I can have all the information and data to bring you accurately how the mortgage markets and real estate markets have responded. I'll be shooting a video tomorrow morning, right? I'll post it at 10 a.m. Be sure to watch it because I'll completely lift the hood up and tell you how the entire thing has played out. See you then, okay? What that does, DJ, is it gives me a chance to address, hey, I'm a professional, I'm keeping my eye on this shit, but I'm not gonna actually say anything until I've got 48 to 72 hours worth of settling in the market. Make sense, guys? Okay. And then tomorrow I would shoot that video. On here's what happened with the Fed cut. Here's how mortgage rates responded. Here's why they responded, and that is they moved prior to, not after. And here's what's projected to happen in the future. Another 4 or 5 rate cuts, which means the market will most likely heat up in November. Just everything that I gave you guys on this PowerPoint. Does that make sense? That becomes sort of your talking point, and then you can give market specificity on that, okay? So then I would call Sherwin, here's the second piece. I'd call every single, and this is where I can get in here with you guys and show you. This is the strategy. By the way, you'll notice first part of the strategy is marketing. I'm going to send that video out. That's a marketing play right there. Okay. Right. It's not me reaching out and having conversations. It's a marketing play. Now I'm going to get on the horn with some urgency for every single one. I'm going to go with my 6 month or less leads. And I'm going to use what's called the rate decrease dialogue, which I'm going to show you guys, right? Why, Jen, do I want to get on the horn with my 6 month or less? Because I need you guys to write this down. I need my 6 months or less leads to know they need to buy before mid to end November. Why? We get the second rate cut, movement prior to that. And then December 18th, we get the third rate cut. We're now, whether it moves prior to or after the Fed, we're now in the mid 5s. Does that make sense, guys? And Anne and the rest of you guys in the chat, if you would, please just tell me, what do you see will take place to your market when we're in the mid 5s? Like you guys in the chat, just tell me, Pipes, here's what's gonna, yeah, Chris, it's gonna go up. We're gonna have multiple offers. Here's the reality. Are you ready? the inventory that has been stagnant that we're sitting on will disappear a lot by January, okay? Because it will start to get gobbled up a little bit like Pac-Man over the course of November, December, and January, right? Remember, there's another rate cut in January, right? So we get another quarter point drop in that, right? There's gonna be more competition. We got, 8 million more buyers coming to the market over the course of the next 4 to 5 months. Multiple offers come back. That's the conversation that you need to have with your buyers and your sellers that need to buy. Make sense, guys? Okay. Now, fortunately for all of you, guess what I have for you? There it is. And you know me, I'm always going to give you guys a script. And I need you guys to recognize, now this will come out to you guys, okay? Jasmine and my team will send this out to Nazar, making it possible for you guys to be able to actually have a copy of this. So, but it says, hey Jen, it's Bill Pipes over here with Five Real Estate. I'm calling you back like I promised I would if there were any major changes in the local or national real estate market. Jen, that's my hook. Does that make sense? That's gonna keep someone, they're not gonna say, oh no, I'm busy right now. Why? Because I'm saying, I'm calling you back like I said I would if I had any changes that in the local real estate market, that were major. I've got intrigue at that point. And then I say, I just need a couple of minutes to share some exciting news with you, Nicole, okay? Right? And so now my goal out of any intro on a dialogue, keep those suckers on the phone. Does that make sense, guys? Because I need to keep them on the phone, because if I can keep them on the phone, I can educate them. Then I say, before I do, Nicole, let me quickly check in with you, and I'm going to reconfirm and their motivation at that point. You're still buying the bigger house because you guys are outgrowing it, and you want to do that by no later than January or February. Yeah, Bill, those are still our plans. And then I say, hey, Ann, did you happen to see what occurred with interest rates over the course of the last couple of days? And she goes, yeah, Bill, I heard, wow, rates came down 50 points, basis points. Oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread. And then I say, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the drop in rates, right? So I'm gonna find out and take her pulse or his pulse or that lead's pulse in terms of where their narrative is. What is their existing narrative? What's their hallucination? And then I share with them, can I share with you some great news? Listen, we had 2 back-to-back readings where the inflation has gone down. Jerome Powell just cut the base rate by 50 basis points. Because of those 2 things, we saw rates drop. Now notice, it doesn't say we saw them drop immediately. I said we saw rates drop by about 48 basis points in the last 50 days, okay? So I'm giving them true data. And now the markets are priced in a quarter cut in the Fed's meetings in November and December. In fact, we could actually see rates in the high 5s by the end of this year and possibly even November. So, hey, Ann, I was wondering, with all of this news and the probability of interest rates being in the low 5s by the end of this year, how does this impact your plans to buy or sell? Okay. So I'm going to use this dialogue to be able to move people forward. I also have another script that I'll give to you, but I won't give to you on this call. That's if they say we want to wait, right? And then it talks about, can I share with you what makes me nervous about you waiting, right? Did you know that when rates drop by 1%, it brings 4 to 5 million more buyers into the market? No, Bill, I didn't know that. So let me ask you, with all these buyers coming in the market, what impact do you think that's going to have on competition? What do you think that'll do to inventory, right? Do you think inventory will go up or down? So I've got an objection handler for you guys on that as well too. Okay. So there's step number 1. We got 11 more minutes. You guys getting some good stuff? Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Now, here's the next step. Step number 2 on the strategy. Again, Nicole, this is me coaching you, right? Like this is exactly what I would be giving you if you were like face to face with me on a coaching call. I want you to call all of your leads that are 6 months or longer. Notice the first move, Jen, Emily, was 6 months or less. The second move is 6 months or further out. And I want to educate them on, here's what's changed, here's what's taking place. I'm basically going to use, Nicole, the same script, but I'm going to add one new question. And you guys are going to love this. And it's very important that you actually get this. I'm going to ask them the question, where do rates need to be in order for you to feel comfortable moving forward? Where do rates need to be, Janelle, in order for you to feel comfortable moving forward with your plans to be able to buy the bigger house? Now, let me explain why this is so critical, okay? So If I ask someone, what are your plans and what's your time frame? They may say, we want to buy in the next 8 months. And I say, perfect. But I also have to recognize that in today's world, 72.1% of consumers who are in the market to buy or sell have said that rates play a significant, the number one decision in why and when they take action. That's critical that you understand. So not time, but rates. So if I don't ask that question, where do rates need to be? And I go, Joe, based upon them telling me 8 months, and I do the normal follow-up, which is cut the time in half, right? And I call them in 4 months. But what I didn't ask them was, where do rates need to be? And they say, Bill, if we're in 5.5, we're going to move forward. We're going to feel more comfortable to do this. Okay. Then Michael, I wait 4 months. In that 4 months, the rates have dropped down below 5.5. When I call that lead, guess what happens? They've already taken action. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So I'm gonna actually, Doug, and this has been just a slayer. I mean, just savage people using it. One of the things that I want all of you to recognize is that everything I give you has been tested and proven. Okay, it's the promise I make you. I have about 6 different beta groups that are my teams that I give stuff to, that we work it out, they use it, we refine it, we optimize it, then I bring it out to the world. Okay, so this has been being used and probably been used a couple of thousand times by those teams on the calls that they're making, and they're just like, holy shit, man, this is working. So I call Emily, I have the conversation. I say, Emily, where do rates need to be? Emily says, Bill, when they're at about 5.5, I think our payment's gonna be right where it needs to be. We'll get more serious. Now I'm gonna put more attention to the 5.5 than I am to the 8 months. Make sense? Okay. And so I'm gonna say to Emily, Brian, hey, Emily, when rates get within 1/4 of a point of that, do I have your permission? Do I have your permission to give you a call so that we can get a little bit more aggressive and put our plan together? Hey, Emily, when rates get within 1/4 of a point, do I have your permission to give you a call so we can get a little bit more aggressive on our approach, right? Put our plan together so we don't miss out on the opportunity and don't have to deal with all the competition? Yeah, Bill, for sure. Now I'm calling her when rates are at 5.75. Make sense? I've got a tag inside my CRM that gives me that information, and I'm aggressively approaching that. I'm putting more time towards the rate sensitivity and their rate sensitivity than I am to their time. Any questions on that, guys? Hey, Brian, that's a brand new thing I've never taught you guys before. You know what I mean? And it's something that is critical, I think, moving forward as we're in this rate sensitive environment. And last but not least, number 3, write down number 3. Okay. Number 3, load the cannon by prospecting 1 to 2 hours per day. It would not be a Coach Pipes call. I'm sorry if I didn't actually just punch you guys one time on that. You need to prospect. And so, and here's the intent though. Okay. Like the intent out of your prospecting, it's really simple. Generate 1 lead. A lead for me is someone that's going to buy or sell within 6 months or less. It used to be 90 days, but I expanded it for you guys to 6 months. Why? Because that 6-month lead becomes a 30 to 60 to 90 day lead as rates drop down. Does that make sense? Someone that was motivated for 6 months could actually be a 3 or 4 month lead depending upon the drop in rates. So my goal, Nino, out of every prospecting session for every client, and if I was back in the business, is can I find 1 person per day? Because if I can, Brian, find 1 person per day, I'm building my pipeline. I'm loading the cannon. Okay. Right. And as I'm loading the cannon, man, like now I've got this pipeline of 50 or 60 leads that are 6 months or less. And shit's just beginning to drop down a little bit more and a little bit more. And as rates are changing, you know, 1 pops here, 1 pops there, etc. Okay. All right. Now, let me take a breath really quick. Did you guys get some good shit? I hope you're enjoying this. I'm having freaking the time of my life. I want to give you, do you guys want an old school oldie but goodie that I've like taken off the shelf? I put this baby away in 2020, like end of 2022 and beginning of 2023. And I was so happy, Chris, when I was like, oh shit, there you are, lovely. Let me pull you out and let me like bring you back out to the world. So I love this. It's one of my favorite techniques and favorite tactics. Where the hell did you go? There she is. Okay. All right. How many, before I share this, hold on. How many of you guys would love to generate a boatload of listing leads? Yes. Yeah, Michael, 2 hands and a foot, right, man? So, yeah. And Rock, I want you guys to have it as well, too. Okay. This technique that I'm about to give you guys, I rolled out to my G3 Nation. G3 Nation is our subscription-based model. It's like $99 a month. We do a huddle every single morning, like for 15, 20 minutes. We do a what we call our campfire once a week. Anyway, I rolled this out to all of my G3 warriors, is what I call everyone inside of our organization. And sure enough, they're real estate agents. So 48 hours goes by. Rock, you remember this. Lisa, you remember this. And I come back, Brian, I'm like, how'd you guys do with this? How many of you guys actually sent this out? And guess what happened? No one raised their hand. And I said, F you guys, we're going to stop this call and you're going to do this exercise right now. Lisa, do you remember this? Rock, do you remember this? I'm like, we're stopping this call. And everyone did it while they're on the call. Peter Parker, one of our G3 warriors, one of our clients, sent 17 of these out and generated seven listing opportunities. Okay. Lisa, did you do this? Did you actually send these out? What happened?
That's where I got that investor that needs 10 properties, both
Lisa,
sides.
Lisa did this and got an investor that, yeah. Like, and how, by the way, how much did it cost you to do this exercise I'm about to share with them?
Nothing.
Zero.
Time.
This is a zero cost basis, only takes your time, and it's so simple. You guys ready? Everyone say, give it to me, coach, on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Give it to me, coach. You guys got to, come on. You got to show me that you want this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Give it to me, coach. Here we go. All right, my friends. There it is. Some of you will remember this. This message is on fire. This is designed, Jen, to go out to your past clients, not to leads. Nicole, it's for your sphere. It's anyone that's bought from you that is sitting on a house. And it says, hey, Anna, hope you and the fam are well. With the recent changes in rates, the real estate market is beginning to heat up. Fire, fire, fire. I feel like Beavis and Butthead. Does anyone remember Beavis and Butthead? No, you guys are too young for that. And prices are rising. Curious about the increased value of your home. It's so simple. Jasmine will send this out. There's 3 parts to this text strategy, right? Anyone remember this from back like 2020? Brian, remember this, dude? I'm telling you, Anna, and it's a dominator. Sometimes the most simple things work the best. And now that people are beginning, and we can send it, why could we not send this out in 2022, 2023, 2024, beginning of the year? Because the text message that says, hey, guess what? Your house's price went backwards and you lost money, curious about the value of your home, isn't as sexy as prices going up. So prices are beginning to actually go up, right? So now you can obviously, if prices haven't started to go up, you can say, and prices are beginning to rise. Does that make sense? They're beginning to, all right? So send 5 of these out a day. If they respond back, then if they don't respond back, don't worry about it. If like you can't motivate the unmotivated, and they don't have a need for you. If they do respond back, then you say something along the lines of, great, so I know where your head is. And this is all outlined for you guys. Are you just curious? Are you thinking about refinancing, or have you had thoughts about selling? Now I know what type of lead I got from that past client. Because remember, 76% of all your listings will end up coming from your past clients, sphere, and referrals from those sources. It's proven fact across the board, okay? Unless you're a killer on expireds and for sale by owners and some other things, all right? So guys, we'll send all of this out to you, right? And then some more, all right? But I do want, did you guys get value? Yes, give me a hell yes if you guys got some good shit that you're gonna use. Will you use it? You pinky promise me you'll use it? Give me a pinky promise. Yes, coach, I'll use at least one thing on this call. This is what we got to accomplish in an hour. Many of you live in Southern California, in Arizona, right? In California, right? I really want to invite you. I want to personally invite you to be able to attend the Sales Power event. Those of you that ever attended the Sales Edge event that I did with Tom, right? It was the definitive sales training in the industry, period. What I did is I said, I love Sales Edge. I love teaching that. I'm a sales trainer. Does that make sense, guys? I'm a strategist, right? It's at my heart. I can never remove it. I also love solving big problems of big teams, but I loved from the stage teaching sales. But I didn't just want it to be a sales event. I wanted it to be a strategy event. So I loved what we would do at the Elite Retreat, for those of you that were part of Tom, right? Where we would actually get strategy and we'd be able to actually execute on that, right? That's why I want you to understand that what I'm going to teach you at the event is strategy. the scripts, the actions, and the plan, and the marketing that goes along with your past clients. Day number one is all about increasing your lead flow. Does that make sense? It's about how do I get more referrals off of your, how do you get more referrals and repeat business off your past clients? How do I convert more of my online leads and drive conversion numbers up? How do I actually run an effective open house? How do I call expireds and for sale by owners and choose which one of those I want to go after if I want to go after them? Tuesday, it's a buyer presentation, NLP training, right? And we begin the listing process. And then Wednesday is the entire listing process. I've put in all the new changes with NAR, right? How to be able to prep your seller to be able to still pay a commission. Like all of the new components of the scripts are in there. But it isn't just script training. You will role play, you will Bruce Lee, like for those of you that remember that, and you will use the shit at night and get on the phone and prospect for an hour. That's how I can guarantee if you attend, you're probably going to get our average agent gets 3.1 appointments set while they're there. Like, so do the math for yourself. Why? Because you're learning it and you're using it on Monday night and Tuesday night. This year, I'm rolling out case studies at this event, Brian, this is different than Orlando, of my 10 agents that are crossing over $1 million and how they did it. I'm rolling out the 3 plans, the 24, the 48, the 75 transaction plan for you guys to be able to see what needs to take place. And I've got about 20, okay? I got about 20 different speakers, but they're not gonna be getting on stage and rah-rah and hype. They're gonna be telling you, okay, here's what I did with my past clients, 1 speaker. Okay, here's how I drove my conversion from 2% to 7% on my online leads. Okay, here is how I run an open house where I get 1 deal, right? 1 new listing lead off of every single one that I do. So my speakers are siloed into like the plan itself. Make sense? Okay. And I got Sugar Shane Mosley, the great boxer, that's going to be there. I'm super excited. So he's going to be telling us about how his pathway to greatness and his runway and how he did it. So that's the event itself, right? So that you have a good concept. It is the most tactical event that exists in real estate today, guaranteed, right? And boots on the ground. So let me just give this to you. It's normally, I think it's running at about 350, 360 right now. Nazar and I worked out something where every single one of you guys get it for $299. For 3 days. And oh, by the way, Ann, that includes buffet lunch, really nice at the M Resort and Casino. So that's lunch included, all right? We have room blocks right now and that are still available for the hotel. I think we got about 20 more rooms or 20 more rooms for 20 more people. So I think they're about 160. If you got them outside the block, they're 500. So if you're thinking about doing it, you want to jump in there. There's everything that you're going to get. There's all of our speakers, right? I'm bringing in my coach, Bob Corcoran, right? And I'm going to do this for you guys. All of you that sign up, I'm also going to give you 3 months of our G3 Nation, which is the morning huddle, which is the Tuesday webinar that we run every single week, and the access to the Facebook group and all of our resources, which is $99. I'm basically giving you $300 for free for you to attend the event. And if you don't like it, I do here's the last little bit, but wait, as they say, there is more. I run a 3x your money guarantee, that if you come to the event, you pay the $299, you attend all 3 days, it isn't everything that you expected, I'm going to give you $897 back. Basically cover your room, cover your cost, everything along those lines. That's how sure I am of the event. All I want is for you to be in that room so I can pour into you, and my team can pour into you, and the speakers can pour into you, so that you get everything that you need to finish this year strong, but more importantly, to actually break through in 2025. I'd love to see you guys there. I know it's short time notice for you, but it was the only time we could speak to you. How many of you guys are interested in going? Just sort of curious, like looking at this going, yes, like interested in going? Yeah. Good. I love the hands. So more than anything, guys, we're over by 5 minutes. Thank you for the time to be able to pour into you. I hope it was well worth the hour. I love getting the chance to be able to support Five because I love Nazar. He's my brother, right? And you guys should know this guy leads with his heart, right? And is one of the smartest mofos that I know. So you're in the right company. You're around stallions. Run like a stallion. I'd love to see you guys in Vegas. If not, stay connected with me, guys. Stay connected. And if you ever have any questions, just know I'm a DM away, okay, at Coach Pipes. In the meantime, now's the time. Get off your ass. Go execute. You've got sort of a really basic game plan. I'll see you in Vegas, guys. Thanks again. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.